Hello, welcome to my video about my senior project. My senior project is about a blog called The Gaming Husband. It's a blog about marriage and about video gaming, which is why I have the dress here, my wife's dress here, and this is the suit that I wore, and then I have my Nintendo Switch to kind of showcase that. And this blog wasn't originally intended to be a blog about gaming and marriage. It changed that because I got married. Originally it was just going to be about video games and loose reviews on video games, but now it's evolved into that. It's also evolved because I've learned more about PR and how to brand yourself or a company. And so I kind of thought about specific ways that I could brand this, so I could involve PR, but also improve my writing as well, and also involve marriage and video games, which is kind of an untapped market together.
My core audience is married men, who also happen to be gamers. From my experience, it seems that when people get married and or start having kids, they toss their hobbies out the window. I think that we still need to have these hobbies. They connect us to other people and we can build relationships out of them. While conducting research for my market, I was surprised to see so many negative things about integrating marriage and video games. I feel that I have insights that aren't being shared, and that's how I found my positioning. I can be a positive influence for married men who play video games. I mentioned that I wanted to include things I learned while studying PR. Positioning is something that I believe will become more important in a business image as time goes on. Having the position of being a positive influence for married gamers is something that I want to be front and center with my blog. So, what did I create? I've written many blog posts about individual games and my thoughts on them. I like to give a full idea of what the game is. I try to have a mix of single-player experiences as well as multiplayer games that can be played with a spouse, children, or friends. Some of the articles are about how both my wife and I grew together by playing a video game. Others are on topics that people have asked about online. These articles are written with help from my wife. These articles are my most viewed on my blog. Obviously, these topics are important to people. This is the kind of content I want to create in order to be a positive influence on married men who have similar interests to me. In all of my articles, I write up my thoughts, organize them into headings and subheadings, and then go through an extensive editing process. On average, my articles tend to be about 2,300 words. That's a lot of editing. After I finish editing, I run my article through Yoast SEO and edit my posts yet again to optimize the SEO in places that are lacking. After I post the article, I share it on my social media accounts for The Gaming Husband. I use popular and fitting hashtags to reach a wider audience. I create engaging titles and encourage people to read the posts. This process can take anywhere to from 5 to 7 hours.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about first that I learned was engaging your audience. You can't just make posts and put them on there and call it good. You got to engage with your audience. I engaged with them by showing them games I was buying, take pictures of it, put on my story. I asked them for thoughts about future games that they would like me to talk about. When I wanted to try a new idea or made a title card for something new that I was trying out, I asked people thoughts and opinions on them. So in those ways, I engage my audience to help them feel like they're involved and feel like they're valued and feel like they matter to what I'm doing, that I'm not just this person writing articles saying, hey, go read them. You know, I'm engaging them. I want them to be involved with what I'm doing. Some of the other things I wanted to talk about, too, that I learned was the importance of hashtags. And that sounds like standard, right? But I learned really quickly that my following grew in a month. It grew I grew from 0 to 25 followers because I used hashtags that were relatable to the things that I was posting, or popular hashtags that were in the gaming community, or I posted like a hashtag blogger and those kind of things. So if other people found them through searching for those things on Instagram. Another thing that I learned was how important analytics and data are in kind of telling you what people are interested in. It almost gives you a story in a way of what people are interested in, what they're looking for, and it kind of gives you a roadmap for how to make your content. For example, like I talked about earlier, how I found that my most successful posts were the ones about integrating marriage and video games. So I know that there's a market for that. And the last thing that I wanted to mention that I learned was how important it was to go online and kind of do your research and look up what people are interested in, what they're talking about. I looked up things like Gaming Husband and saw what people were talking about, what questions people had. And I mentioned earlier about that, how that really is what helped me out to grow my blog and to get people interested and help people understand that you can integrate your marriage with your hobbies and things that you love, that it works. And it's a healthy thing. It's a positive thing. And I would say those are the main things I learned. It was a great experience, and I learned so much about the community that I'm already involved in gaming, and I learned more about marriage and how to integrate those things, how to integrate things that I love together. This experience has been wonderful, and I'm so grateful that I was able to do this and create this, and I want to keep creating after this project's over, keep creating content and things to help people, bring people into this positive experience so you can integrate video games with marriage. And that's the whole purpose of this blog, The Gaming Husband.